The settings for leave categories can be accessed and updated by clicking on the Payroll Settings tab, which can be found here or here. This screen allows you to set up your leave categories and control which of them accrue automatically, how they will behave in the pay run, whether or not to include them in termination payments, and decide which should appear in your employees' payslips. Just a few things to note in relation to leave categories. Any changes that are made to your business's leave category settings will not be applied to existing employees. The new settings will only apply automatically to any new employees who are subsequently added to your payroll. In this scenario, for existing employees that are not connected to a leave allowance template, you'll need to update their leave category settings directly. You can do this via their employee file, Leave Allowances page. You can change employee leave settings in bulk by using a leave allowance template. If you do that, all you need to do is click Save on the relevant template and it will automatically update any employee that is attached to that template. If we take a look at the leave categories, there are a number of default leave categories already set up when you create a business. In relation to these categories, you'll notice that the settings have already been created by default. If you'd like to add more leave categories, you can do so by clicking the Add button to the right of the screen. You will then need to enter the following information. The name is a required field. The external ID. This is only required if you're using an external system to capture leave requests or timesheet entries, and hence need to map the code from both systems. If an external ID is used that has been used before, you won't be able to save it if the unique external ID setting is switched on. This setting is located on the Payroll Settings Advanced Settings page. Leave loading. This is a percentage and is used to automatically apply leave loading, such as annual leave loading. Leave category type. This is a drop-down box and you can select from standard or long service leave. The employee leave balance. This is a drop-down box and you can select from tracked or not tracked. For some types of leave that aren't accrued in the usual way, e.g. leave without pay, it might not make sense for an employee to have a balance. In these cases, you should set this value to not tracked, and it tells the system that it doesn't need to keep track of how much of this type of leave an employee is entitled to. If we take a look at these checkboxes next, you'll see the automatically accrues. Select this option if the leave is to accrue automatically. You will then be required to choose whether or not the leave will accrue on an ongoing basis or accrued based on a defined leave year. The leave year can be set as the employee's start date or another specific date. This date is specified via the Employee's Leave Allowances page. Exclude from Termination Payout. Select this option if you do not want any of the unused leave balance for this leave category to be automatically paid out upon termination. ETP. You can only select this option if the Exclude from Termination Payout option above is not selected and the employee leave balance is set to tracked. If the leave category can be classified as an ETP when paid out on termination, for example, unused sick leave, unused rostered days off, and/or time in lieu of overtime, you should tick the checkbox so that the payout of the unused leave is correctly classified as an ETP and taxed accordingly. Hide accruals from payslips. Select this option if you don't want to allow the employees to see the amount of leave accrued for this leave category within a pay run on their payslips. Hide balances from payslips and in the employee portal. Select this option if you don't wish to allow employees to see the balance of this leave category on their payslips or in the employee portal. Hide leave category name from employee view. Select this option if you don't wish to have the leave category name displayed in the calendar, which is visible within the employee's portal. All that will be displayed instead is the employee name and the period of leave taken. This setting works in conjunction with the setting employees can view approved leave from the Employee Portal Settings page. The next section deals with standard allowance. From here, you can enter the number of hours per hour worked or any of these options: standard weeks per year, standard days per year, or hours per pay run. You can also click on the calculator icon to assist with calculating the entitlement and ensuring the correct figure is being applied. This drop-down deals with leave accrual capping. This setting allows you to select whether or not the number of hours accrued will be capped, and if the accrual is to be capped, you're able to select the number of hours that you would like it to be limited to. If you'd like the leave to accrue based on the employee's leave year, you'll also notice a few extra options. You're able to select whether or not you want the leave entitlement to start after a certain amount of months, which can be entered here. And there's also the accrue in advance option. Select this if you want employees to accrue their whole entitlement in advance. This means that the full annual entitlement will be accrued in the employee's first pay run and will be added to their leave balance. The last option deals with the carrying over of the balance. This setting allows you to cap the number of leave units to carry over to the next year. If the entire balance is to be carried over, you select this option here. Otherwise, you can select a maximum of and then enter the maximum number of units to be carried over. The payment setup section determines whether the employee is paid for the leave taken and the pay category that is assigned when leave is taken. By selecting basic, it means that when an employee does not use timesheets, the employee's leave balance will be reduced and the earnings are not impacted. However, when an employee is using timesheets to submit time worked, an earnings line within the pay run will be created and the leave balance will be reduced. To check or assign the employee's timesheet settings, you'll need to go to the Employee File, Pay Run Defaults page. Don't pay for the leave taken. When an employee does not use timesheets, an earnings line within the pay run with negative hours will be added to reduce the earnings for the employee. When an employee is using timesheets to submit time worked, no earnings line will be created. Report the earnings for the leave taken against another pay category. When wanting to report payments for leave taken in a separate pay category for reporting or journaling purposes, you can select this option. The earnings related to the leave taken will be assigned against the specific pay category instead of the employee's primary pay category. When this is selected, the option will be given to use the rate of pay from the employee's primary pay category. You're able to click on the drop-down box here in order to select the pay category that you'd like to choose, such as annual leave taken. However, by ticking here, it assumes that you still want the employee to be paid their usual rate of pay. The last option, custom, isn't often used. However, it allows the user to deduct hours from an arbitrary pay category and transfer them to another arbitrary pay category when leave is taken. You'll see these drop-down boxes here, and again, it'll list all the pay categories within the system. Once you're happy with the pay category details, you can go ahead and click Save. There you have it, the Leave Categories page.